So the main thing that came out, actually there was a number of things that came out of this interview, but the main thing that came out of this is that he's very anxious or nervous about the scope of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into possible collusion with Trump campaign associates and Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. The main thing that he's very nervous about, or it seems to be upset about, is if Mueller were to venture into looking into his family's finances as part of his investigation. He particularly seemed to single out as kind of a red line that if Mueller crossed that and started looking into those matters, that might be something he considers to be a violation of what Mueller's charge, basically what he is supposed to be investigating. He did stop short of saying that he would fire Mueller, but it was clear that this was more of a warning shot across the bow. That the president is not happy that Mueller would be looking into those things. So at this point, there's been some reports today, the AP has not confirmed this yet, but there's been some reports today that Mueller is looking into, or at least has kind of done some preliminary discussions with some financial institutions looking into Trump's transactions, business transactions. There was a report from Bloomberg, and also the New York Times had a report that people at Deutsche Bank, which is a major lender for Trump, do expect to hear from Mueller about possibly a subpoena or some requests for some records from them. There were also some reports out there that Mueller seems to be interested in looking at some of Trump's past business relationships with Russians. Right, so that's another major thing that came out of this interview, which is that the president seems to basically regret his decision to appoint Jeff Sessions, and said so openly, because he recused himself from overseeing the Russia probe. Obviously, that seems to undermine, Jeff Sessions. Now, today he was asked about this at the Justice Department in an unrelated press conference, and he really ducked the question and just said, I will continue to serve as Attorney General as long as is appropriate. But obviously not a vote of full confidence coming from the president for his Attorney General. Right now, you can definitely tell that there's a lot of anxiousness going on in the White House about this investigation. I think that last week when you had the development of hard documentary evidence of an email where the president's eldest son is meeting with someone who says that they are representing the Russian government. Now, whether or not they were is still something that we've kind of reported out. This lawyer has said that she didn't have any direct connections to the government, but I think that that's very worrisome. I think that things have started to kind of get real for people within the White House to say, what before was, well, there doesn't seem to be any evidence. Now there seems to be some pretty hard evidence that Trump Jr. at least was willing to accept help from the Russian government in the election.